All right, welcome to another Deal Structures Sunday. You know, I love sharing with you guys some of our live coaching calls because it shows you in our community what we do, how we do with the associates. On this particular week's High Six coaching call, which I coach personally with Brian O'Neill in Illinois, we just go, hey, what are the challenges, guys? What do we have to work on? Or someone brings a script challenge or a deal challenge to the table. Well, in this piece of this call you're going to peer in on, you get a glimpse of what we do on these calls. And the reason I wanted it in the deal structure end of it is we're talking about deals here. And I know people can go through a course that someone markets to you. I've said this on many shows, many podcasts, and you can go to a seminar or an event. The bottom line is when you leave there, the amount of nuances, the amount of curveballs, the amount of pivots, the amount of challenges, the amount of objections, all these things that can go on in the deal, those things are not taught in the warm and fuzzy seminar rooms, unfortunately. I, on the other hand, and our Wicked Smart team and our Wicked Smart community and coaches love to expose you to that so that when you go out in the real world, then you go, this is going to happen and here's how I pivot with it. So enjoy this call and I hope to see you at the next live event because we tear these apart there. Not only do we tear them apart, but the people you see on this call, for example, right now, you get to meet them in person. You get to pick their brain. You get to rip apart a deal. You get to ask them script questions. So enjoy this, but most importantly, get yourself registered for the next event. It's either QLS Live, which is QLSlive.com in September, or if you're watching this at a later date, it's Wicked Smart Summit, WickedSmartSummit.com. See you at the next event.
So I guess this property is kind of evolving. Kind of make it quick here. It's on a country. It's on 29 acres. It's a manufactured home. It has two different loans on it. One's a private loan at 9% interest. That's indefinite for the most part, but it's actually calculated at a 20-year rate. And then the other one is a interest-only loan. So I guess my question comes in more on the interest-only loan when calculating my 3 paydays. I was calculating one at the current interest rate, but then I also, if I had my numbers right, I calculated a separate one at like a 10% interest rate, in case the Fed keeps raising the interest rate. Because the loan is based on whatever the Fed does. Whenever the Fed raises it, that's when the interest rate goes up.
Quick question there, Kyle, so I can track with it. Is it literally like a line of credit floating, or is there anniversaries of increase or decrease?
I think it's my understanding, if I right, it's floating because it's a home equity line of credit.
Okay.
So I think it's just based on the.
Yep, makes sense.
So when I kind of ran my numbers and I did the 3 paydays too, it looks like if it went to 10%, that would kind of eat up my payday too. Just on the guesstimate monthly spread I kind of put in there. So I guess my question is that a good rate that I should be calculating it at? Just any thoughts? Anything that I'm missing?
If I'm tracking with you, my thoughts, I want everybody's, is I think I would find the break-even point of the payday 2. If it's 10% on that other loan that causes it to break even, long as you know that. And then while that's happening, I know that you're talking cash flow, but I'd also want to know on the 20-year amortization one, if I heard you correctly, what is the principal pay down on that every month? Because in my brain, I'd go break even, and then I'd go, I also have $180 to work with here every month, and I'm getting principal pay down, so I'm okay. Like I'd think about that.
Correct. Because when I did calculate, like if I did the principal pay down with that other one, and I did my 3 paydays, it looked like it was like 47,500, or right.
Right, but what was the principal pay down piece of one of those loans that does have principal pay down? I'm just curious. Do you know yet or no?
Monthly, Kyle. Monthly. What's the monthly?
Monthly is 917.
Total?
That's what you pay down monthly. So total times, was it 60 months? Gets you 47,500.
917 is the principal pay down on that 20-year amortization?
Right, that's what they pay to principal every month.
Wow.
At 9% interest, that seems okay. The payment's $1,700.
Yeah, but maybe not with a 20-year am. I don't know. How long have they had it? Maybe that's what we're missing.
They got the loan in 2022, I believe. It's August or something like 22.
Seems kind of high then.
Yeah.
So my numbers may be off too, right? So
Okay, so
August of 2020.
okay, so my only thought is, just to make sure I'm clear, if I'm not, someone ask. So you find out the break even from just a cash flow standpoint, what interest rate on that other loan that makes it, but then find out this number. It sounds like you might be a little high. Brian's saying the same thing. So I don't know. It sounds too good to be true. But there's some principal pay down that's happening there. And if it's 400 or 200, whatever it is, we got to know that. And the reason I'm saying that, Kyle, is you might be okay with chewing into that, having a negative cash flow, knowing that your principal is going down by bigger. And that's only if rates go over 10%, which I'm not saying they're not. I'm not an economist, but
Yeah.
you got to be comfortable with, I don't know if that's going to happen in 3 years, that type of thing.
Yeah. Okay.
Does anyone else have any thoughts? I don't want to hog it. I'm just trying to say where I can. So I got to jump if 11:30, but other than that, I don't have the answer necessarily all the time.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree. I think the principal pay down number is wrong. We'll work that. I'll help you with that, Kyle. There's a formula we can use to back into it because it's not clear on the loan.
Without a statement, sure, you can get close, Brian. Yeah.
Yeah. We can figure it out.
And then I had another quick question, because there was a issue of like for the buyer when they go get a loan, being on land, the land may be worth more than the home. I'm not quite sure if it is. Is there a way to find out, or a place to go to find out if the land's worth more than the loan, or the land's worth more than the home?
Okay, I have a couple of comments. Facetiously, why would you care? Because no matter what, if I'm tracking with you, buyer's going to go for a loan eventually. The place is going to get appraised. It's not an assessment where they're breaking down. Like the place is going to get appraised for the loan. That's it.
Okay. Because I didn't know if they would be able to qualify. I mean, there's just a question if they qualify, with the loan, or if they'd have to get like a land loan.
No. If it's a livable dwelling, they're not going to say it's a land. No.
Okay, cool.
If I'm tracking with you. But if you want to know for shits and grins, you don't want to waste your time with this, but if you want to know, the assessment does break it down. The tax assessment breaks it down. Doesn't mean it's an appraisal, but they break it down.
Why would you care though?
That's what I was saying.
Am I missing something? Why would you be worried about that?
No, it's just me probably overthinking.
Okay.
Yeah, you're good. Kyle, what you're saying happens a lot. Like in my neighborhood, somebody bought a $2 million cape and tore it down. So they have a yard. But if somebody bought that cape, it'd be okay. It'd appraise for that amount. And, the house is worth 300 grand. The lot's worth $2 million. It's okay. They're getting a loan on the whole property.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you.
You bet.
I've got the deal that I've been talking to you about, Chris, was the condo in Manchester that's got a tenant in it.
Okay.
For 6 more months. The tenant's been there for 6 years. The seller says he's a very good tenant. He takes care of the property and everything else. Granted, the HOA takes care of the other stuff. But one of my contingencies is, well, I'll keep the tenant in place for the remainder of his lease term pending interview. Now, do you actually interview the tenant, and if so, what do you ask them and what do you look for?
Now you set me up to send you to a video. So did you watch the video on can you buy a property with a tenant in it?
A while back, but I probably need to go back and look at it.
Yeah, all kidding aside, all you guys, if you don't know what that video is, it basically tells you what Nick and I and Zach have done always. You ask the seller, I'll try to paraphrase as quick as I can. You ask the seller that you want to go see the property. I prefer they're not there, quite frankly. I just want to meet the tenant. I want to see, is it an interview, Rick, informally in your brain? Do they look you in the eye? Do they talk? Are they confident? Are they paying? Is the house kept up? Would you want to deal with them?
Yeah.
We had a military lady that when Nick, the one in wherever it was, Fall River, when I walked through, she was awesome. House was spotless. She's military. If she doesn't get orders, she wants to buy it. Yeah, I was comfortable with it. But I also had where we went in and said, holy shit, you get them out. I'll put under agreement now. So I tied the house up. You get them out. When it's empty, I'll come take over. So either way. But watch the video, everybody.
Usually though, I was just having that conversation earlier today with Steve Murnick and Jose. Usually, generally speaking, it's best when you have the property vacant without the tenant, because it's usually a nightmare situation with having to deal with getting the tenant out. But
Yeah, unless Nick, I like it. I like what you're saying. So the reason, because usually they're hiding something. The next point, right? But so I dug deeper. I should have said this, and the reason that seller was selling, so I'm like, well, why wouldn't you just keep her? Because she was great. I just met her. My in-law, I just got divorced. My in-laws live 2 houses down. I can't wait to get the F out. Like he just was bitter. He wanted away from this house. So I went with it. It worked. But to Nick's point, most of them are like, there's a reason they want to get out.
90% of the time, they're not telling you something. So it's best to make all of your agreements contingent on the seller getting the tenant out.
In this case, they want to move south and he doesn't want to manage the property long distance. So
Then go meet the tenant and see the house and do
Okay.
a walkthrough, record it for us, and Nick and I will watch it with you. And then for all you guys that say, okay, well, maybe I'll go Nick's route 90% of the time. Yep. Okay. So put it under agreement if you can now, even if the lease is a year out. In about 7 months or whatever it is, Nick will help you start to prep for that. If you can tie the house up, tie it up.
It can be, yes, it can be a lot of wasted time, effort, and energy on your part dealing and negotiating with a tenant once you have people to see the place. So
No, I'm not saying show it. I agree, Nick. I'm saying tie the house up.
just be careful. And if they're not comfortable with that, Rick, just keep dripping on them, keep following up with them until the tenant's out, and then do a deal with them. Because
the tenant, he said he's been paying wrong. He's been there for 6 years. Very good tenant.
Well, of course, he's the best. He's the
yeah,
best ever, and he wants to get. Yeah, he's the best. But I'm just telling you, reality.
Yeah, but he said he wants to. The tenant had wanted to buy the property, but
Of course he
because
did,
of
and he
market-
wants all the
Nick,
rent.
you're being slightly like
Obnoxious.
There's a deal. Yeah, there's a deal. So you're being too rigid on the deal.
Yeah.
There's a deal. Go follow the video is the short answer. Brian, is that in Linda or no?
I don't know.
It's on YouTube. I don't know.
I'm
If
sorry.
definitely on
I'm
YouTube.
sorry. I'm sorry if I'm being obnoxious, Brian. I've dealt, and Rick, I've just dealt with tenants and properties, and they've wasted so much of our time on not deals when we thought we had a deal. I'm just trying to save you that same time.
Do you see what route I went? I went on the deal that we did at work, but there was 9 out of 10 of them that might not have if we did it.
And you know I'm just teasing you, Nick.
That's what his job is.
I agree.
Rick,
100%.
that subject is worth Brian bringing up on the other calls. It's a big, I think it's good that people talk about both of these deals that Kyle and your deal. Kyle's is, well, how the heck do I work these numbers? And yours is like practical 10. Okay, those are both good things to talk about.
Well, this just also begs the point to discuss that, I say this ad nauseum. There's a reason they're called the seller and we're called the buyer. They're the ones who are trying to sell us on the house. The tenant's great. And also, you could probably get another $400 a month on rent. They're paying below market rent. No, they're not. They're paying every seller says that you could get more for rent. Like, well, why aren't you?
Why didn't you?
Yeah. So I'm always just skeptical when I talk to every single seller. Like, I just don't believe what they're saying until I actually see it with my own eyes.
That's 100% right. Yeah.
Right. So it doesn't matter what they say to me, especially in the beginning. It's like, because they're all just trying to get you to buy their house on their terms.
Brian, you bring up a really good point before I jump. It's worth you making them sell you on that, right? You always say, like, I'll tell you why I'm skeptical. Rick, go back to your 1,000 deals. We're the foremost experts. We've done hundreds and hundreds of deals. That experience doesn't work out for us. So tell me why it's going to work out. Like, I would definitely have them sell you on that. Not this guy in particular. I'm just saying, for everyone's sake, it's worth them selling you. And Brian always talks about that. They got to tell you why you should buy it.
You know how much an eviction costs, Rick?
If you can do one.
Yeah, right.
Exactly. Depending on the crisis that's going on, if you can do one.
Yeah.
Can you tell Nick's a little brain dead from it?
No, good talk though.
By the way, the video is in Linda.
Pete, you are awesome. How did I know you'd find that within 2 seconds? Thank you.
Well, I have to kind of know the products.
Yeah, no, that's good. It's good. Guys, I got to talk to our buddy Matthew in Canada about doing some DLs up there. You guys have an awesome day, and I will see you soon.